Hi guys, welcome to today's video. I'm Sarah. This is No BS Beauty. Check out all my links below, but this is just kind of an update video. New year, new skincare, influencer, controversies, updates, rants, all of it in one concise video. So I'm going to talk about the tariff update next, but I want to slowly ramp up. So the first topic I want to talk about is Botox, filler, cosmetic treatments, laser treatments, any plastic surgery, any and all of it. I feel like influencers, especially in the skincare, beauty scape, in my humble opinion, if you are a skincare, especially influencer, if you are doing treatments like Botox, if you are getting filler done, if you are having I don't know, surgery, whatever. I personally feel like it is ethical and moral to disclose it. I feel like if you don't disclose it and you're doing things like Botox and filler and whatever treatments, it really enforces unrealistic standards for aging as well as just beauty in general. It gives people the expectations that their skincare product can turn somebody's clock way back, perhaps. And furthermore, it seems to intentionally be deceptive of the audience. So in my humble opinion, if you are an influencer, somebody like myself, and you are doing Botox injections, you should tell the audience that. I didn't just start using this serum and now suddenly I look 10 years younger. It doesn't really work that way. Most products don't give you results that can mirror actual Botox. So I feel like there's a lot of influencers that don't tell their audience that they're doing Botox or fillers or whatever else. And I feel like they should, and they have the, in my opinion, they have the duty to tell their audience this, because I just think if you're not going to do that, it gives people unrealistic standards that you can do whatever you want and your aging will cooperate with that. Botox can be dramatic. I do Botox for migraines. I have, I think, is it 31 or 31 injections? Well, I do it all over my back, my neck, my scalp, my back of my scalp, this side of my scalp, and I think 4 in front or 3 in front in the forehead. So I've always, the second I decide to do it, I tell the audience, hey guys, guess what? I'm going to do Botox and this is why. But I feel like people that are doing that and doing other treatments should disclose it so their audience at least knows, you know, hey, you know what, their wrinkles, wow, suddenly they look a lot better. Maybe I need to buy that $800 La Prairie serum and that's going to fix everything. So I just think it's an honesty and integrity issue. And I think a lot of people try to mislead, probably not intentionally, or maybe they're embarrassed or just don't want to admit it. But if we're doing treatments, I think it's important to disclose that. Or I did BBL and a Moxie laser treatment last February, I want to say. So I just think a lot of them have been, so I just don't want to have unrealistic standards for yourself, because I have a feeling a lot of influencers are doing this and maybe not telling people, maybe intentionally, maybe not intentionally. Most of the time it's probably not intentional, and maybe some people are trying to hide their age, but it's just better to be honest and open about it. And it also gives people, you know, an idea, maybe I should try this. I don't know. I think Botox is expensive. I know my health insurance, I think, charges like $3,000 for it. But there is a Botox savings program that I can use to save the cost of it that I would have to pay. So anyway. Okay, next up, aside from that, let me know your thoughts on it. It's probably kind of, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have questions about that. Okay, tariff update. So, back in, does this have a date on it? It doesn't. I got a little note from UPS saying that I owed $220. I ordered the Theramid Even In Serum from Niche Beauty Lab. This is probably back in August, maybe September. I ordered it, and eventually they had shipped it from Spain. And unfortunately, I saw that it had been shipped to UPS. And my gut instinct was initially like, oh, shoot. I've had good luck shipping with FedEx, DHL, whatever else I've used. But I've heard nightmare stories about UPS and their tariffs. So the day the product is about to get delivered, I get a bill for $220 for a $30 or $40 serum. and eventually go through trying to figure out what's going on. They had it classified as Russian aluminum, which is conveniently the most expensive tariff. So I rejected the package. They had started to send me bills, and they started to send me late fees. And people online were going to say, hey, they're going to send it to collections. You're going to have to pay it. I have no contract with UPS, so I rejected the package. It's not Russian aluminum, but conveniently, a lot of the skincare from Europe now is being, classified as Russian aluminum conveniently because it's the most expensive tariff. And then UPS charges their fee. So I think the tariffs were like $70, and then their fees were $150 or more. So it was crazy. So I've sent them 2 letters. The first one, right after I rejected it, I am not taking this control package. Tariff is, 8 times more than what this product is. And then the second letter, I said, I got your bill. I got your statement. I will fight you all the way to the end if I have to. If you want to put this on my credit, I will fight you in court if I have to do it. But eventually they stopped sending me a bill, so I have a feeling it's over, and that's the update. But I'm not totally certain, but I'll let you guys know. But so far, that's where it is. Haven't got another bill for 2 months since they got that letter. And I sent it certified mail. So, yeah. What? 2 of them. Yeah, 2 letters. Yeah, I sent... Yeah, but they were both certified mail. So anyway, so I haven't got any bills since then. And as a purchaser, you don't necessarily contract with them. I have a feeling if Niche Beauty Lab had sent that Theramid serum FedEx or DHL, it might have been a different story. I actually got something that was made out of metal that I'd ordered 5 years ago. Well, like 3 years ago. It was a electric smart ring, and that actually came from India. I thought I got scammed and the money was gone, but they were just really slow producing it, I guess, because it took like 2 or 3 years. And I finally got that ring delivered, which I think was like a $300 purchase. I thought that money was long gone. And it was delivered by FedEx, and that tariff was $25. And that was actual metal, which in India, I don't know, I assume that could have been Russian aluminum. That's probably more likely to be Russian aluminum than a brightening serum in a glass bottle. But the tariff on that was $25. So it was like, I got scammed out $300 3 years ago, and now they want $25 more dollars. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so for that, no more bills. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. Who knows? So some skincare controversies. I thought I'd just kind of talk about these a little bit. So this is interesting. So someone was posting the ingredient or directions on La Roche-Posay sunscreen, and the directions say to apply this sunscreen under their moisturizer. So I should note this was a chemical sunscreen from La Roche-Posay. I believe this was in Australia. So it was interesting. Are you supposed to apply sunscreens over moisturizer, under moisturizer? I've always tried to make it the last step of my routine, aside from foundation. But chemical sunscreens, certain types of those filters may form a really nice kind of protective cover layer on your skin, and so perhaps using them under moisturizer is the best way. Although if you apply it and not let it sink in or dry, and you really quickly apply your moisturizer right over it, I have a feeling you're going to be mixing 2 things and not getting the best protection. So this is always an interesting debate. So for me, I'm still going to do it how I've been doing it. My sunscreen, it's been working for me, but it's just as interesting that there's different methods. And I know certain sunscreens, like from Anessa or Shiseido brand, they have technology where if you sweat, it works harder and the filters do a better job protecting you. So it's kind of interesting that there's not a one size fits all for sunscreen. I think, yeah, it's just depends on the type, and I guess I would follow their directions because certain filters, perhaps, especially some of the newer ones that we don't have in the US, may function a little differently than the ones we're used to. Another really interesting thing is, do spray tans cause aging due to oxidation? Because the DHA, some people say, is an oxidant. So in our skincare, we look for antioxidants to fight oxidants, which are free radical damage. And some people are saying that DHA is going to be damaging and aging to your skin. And so I just did a little bit of digging, and the DHA development, which happens in the first 12 hours after applying the sun spray tan, studies show increased free radical production. UV exposure during this window can amplify damage. So if you get a spray tan, Don't go walk around in the sun right afterwards. Spray tans can be an oxidant. Other ingredients in skincare also qualify as oxidants, but may be beneficial. Hypochlorous acid for some people is very beneficial in fighting rosacea. But that is an oxidant. But I think if the benefits it provides outweigh that, then and if you use it with antioxidants, perhaps that's the way to go. There's no studies that show increased aging from topical DHA, and DHA attaches to the dead skin cells and turn them brown essentially, and that's the fake tan. And once the new skin surfaces, the fake tan is gone, then you got to do it again. So I think the biggest controversy or question is the short-term oxidative stress. If you stay out of the sun after a spray tan and you use it with good antioxidant serums during and after your spray tan, I think you're probably okay. Probably still better than being in the sun, but it's interesting debate that goes on. So another question, do you need lip sunscreen if you're only in the sun less than an hour a day? Probably not. I think typically on the average day I'm probably over sunscreened, but I'd rather be over sunscreened than under sunscreened. But I think probably typically I'm over sunscreen. I think a little bit of sun is probably not a terrible thing. And I slack on my lip care, to be honest, when it comes to sunscreen. So yeah, so those are some kind of controversies. And then last controversy still going on for this year, since I've been writing a lot of reviews more recently, the gray area of animal testing. It's really interesting. When I started my channel, it was like black or white. Either you're cruelty-free or you're not. And now there's kind of become this third area of not cruelty-free, but totally not for sure if it is cruelty-free. And there's a lot of brands that have been selling that have been marketed as cruelty-free that may actually be in a gray area. And probably since I've started doing videos and reviews, this has changed because the Chinese market has become so advantageous. Brands are really trying to get into it, and that's where the gray area comes from. So there's a couple brands that fit into that gray area, such as Paula's Choice. Although they say they are Leaping Bunny certified. I'm just trying to look at a recent Paula's Choice product to see if it has it. So this is an older Paula's Choice product. I see the Leaping Bunny certification on it. That logo right there, the very corner. This is a newer Paula's Choice product, and I don't see that on there. So, do I have the newest Paula's Choice product? I do. Here's the newest. Same. Nothing on there. Paula's Choice is owned by Unilever. They are not a cruelty-free company. This is an old, I guess this serum is a lot older than I thought it was, and it's still in my cabinet, but it's interesting that they've been revoked. Paula's Choice has been selling in China. There's actually a class action lawsuit from customers claiming that Paula's Choice has been testing on animals and not disclosed it for the last several years. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that shakes out, but they're definitely in the gray area at this point. I wouldn't call them cruelty-free, and I wonder if their Leaping Bunny certification has been taken away, if they still have it, or they just changed their packaging. I'm not sure. First Aid Beauty was the first one I realized I was in that gray area when I went to review it, and I realized they had started selling in China, but they weren't selling in brick and mortar in China. If you're selling in brick and mortar skincare in China, as of when I started influencing, they would have to test that product on animals to make sure it was safe for people. Then the rules kind of changed to where some brands started selling online, not in brick and mortar, so they could get by that. But as far as I understand, as of up until a few years ago, if it was sold online and someone had a reaction to it, then they would animal test it. So is that cruelty-free or not? Well, as long as nobody had a reaction to it and they didn't have to test it on an animal, it is. But if that happened, would you even know? So these brands are in the gray area, and these debates continue. So it's interesting that the gray areas become more noticeable. In a review I wrote recently, is the VT Cosmetics Riedel serum, which I'm going to review. Oh, this one right here. I couldn't find out if it's cruelty-free or not. They're saying they're cruelty-free, but it looks like they're sold in China. So, and I know that law's changing in China like frequently, so it becomes even more gray when the law is changing so often that people can't keep up with it. But anyway, it's kind of interesting. I'm curious your thoughts on that too. So leave them all. Leave all your thoughts on the Botox, the influencers, the tariffs, the sunscreen under moisturizer, and the cruelty-free gray area. Leave all your thoughts below. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys more tomorrow. Okay, bye guys.